whisper from the basement. In an old house on the outskirts of town lived a boy named Артем. The house was large and gloomy, with many locked rooms and dark corners. But what frightened Артем the most was the basement, whose door was always locked with a sturdy padlock. One evening, when his parents went out to visit friends, Артем was left home alone. He was sitting in his room when he suddenly heard a strange whisper coming from below the floor. The whisper was faint but clear and persistent. Артем listened closely and realized that the sound was coming from the locked basement. He knew that the basement was locked and the key was always with his parents. But the whisper grew louder, and the boy became curious. Finding an old lantern, Артем cautiously descended the stairs to the basement. The door was closed as usual, but the whisper was becoming more distinct. He noticed that the door was slightly ajar. Summoning his courage, he pushed it open. The door creaked ominously, and Артем stepped inside. It was dark and cold inside. The lantern cast a dim light on old, dusty items and cobwebs hanging from the ceiling. The whisper was now directly in front of him. Артем slowly moved forward until he saw an old chest in the corner of the basement. The whisper was coming from there. The boy approached and carefully opened the chest's lid. Suddenly the whisper stopped, and a deathly silence fell. Артем looked inside and saw an old doll. The doll looked terrifying. Its eyes were large and glassy, and its face was haggard and dirty. As soon as Артем touched the doll, its eyes glowed red, and it began to whisper, "You found me. Now you're mine." Terrified, Артем dropped the doll and tried to run, but the basement door slammed shut. The doll continued to whisper, and the boy felt something invisible grab his arm. He struggled desperately, but couldn't break free. A sinister laugh echoed in the darkness of the basement. When his parents returned home, they found that Артем was nowhere to be found. They searched the entire house but found no trace of him. Only sometimes, passing by the basement, they could hear faint whispers and a sinister laugh coming from inside. Since then, the basement door has always remained locked, and no one dared to open it.